What's up guys, it's Andrew at Night, and today I'm going to run you through my favourite things about the HTC One. So we're just going to jump into Google Keep, and as you can see we've got a list here, if it ever comes into focus. Come on. There we go. So the first thing is boom sound. The speakers on this are just miles ahead of any other phone speaker I've tried it against. I've tried it against iPhones, Nokias, all the other Android phones I've got, and nothing else really comes close. Not only is it louder, but the bass is really good. The depth and quality of the sound is really good compared to any other speakers. So if you're going to be using this, you can easily use it to put music into a small bedroom or something, and even if people are talking and chatting, you're going to have a comfortable level of volume, so you're not going to need speakers, which is really nice. On top of that, the headphone quality is really nice on this. I'm not sure what they did with the Beats audio stuff, but it works really well. So if you listen to headphones on this phone, it's going to sound a couple of notches better than any other phone that you use them with. The build quality on this is absolutely fantastic. It feels really expensive. It's definitely the best built Android phone I've used, and it's definitely up there rivaling the iPhone 5. Feels nice in the Lumia series as well, so it's really nice in the hand. Feels really cold because of the aluminium, which is really nice. It sort of reinforces that quality feel when you pick it up. The screen is absolutely fantastic on this. I can't get over how good it feels or how good it looks. I almost can't go back to using my Nexus 7 just because the screen, the PPI is so low compared to this, and this is so bright and crisp, and just even in sunlight it's got really good viewing angles and it looks really good. So I really can't overstress how nice this screen is. What have we got next? We've got low light. I've seen countless reviews of the camera on this, and most of them have said it's about the same as the one on the S4. I have to say I think it's better. The low light performance on this is fantastic, and just in everyday situations when I'm actually using my phone to take photos, this has been better than anything else I've used. I was taking photos of shoes to upload to eBay to sell, and it was a fairly dark room, and I wasn't using flash because if you use flash it reflects off the leather. But not even using HDR mode, this ultra pixel camera could pick out all the light from it, get really nice detail on all the stitching, everything on the inside of the shoe. And I was doing the same thing with an Xperia Arc, with a Galaxy Note 2, and my HTC One X Plus, and none of them were getting anywhere near the amount of light this was getting. Just the detail in the photos was fantastic. So I think for most situations, if you're in a club, if you're in a dimly lit room, sorry, my camera just bleeped to me that it was running out of battery. If you're in a dimly lit room or anything like that, this is going to produce photos that are much better quality than anything else out there. And I think that is the most important thing. I don't often take photos in perfect lighting conditions where you need all the megapixels. So this really does sort of pull all the light out of a situation. Again, the shutter speed and the focus, they're also the best I've used on a phone. They're really quick. You can snap away instantly, and pretty much every image I've taken has been really crisp, even if there's been movement. Zoe and highlights is something I didn't think I'd use, but they're actually really cool. If you go to a party or you go for sort of a day out, if you take all your photos using Zoe's and then stitch together a highlight at the end of the day, it's really nice. It's chronological, it puts it to music, it's really beautifully done, and I thought it was gimmicky when I first used it, but actually I can see it's a really nice way to share sort of an entire afternoon or day's experience with your family or whatever in a 30-second video clip that you don't have to edit yourself. It just does it for you, which is cool. There's also some really nice effects on the camera which are worth trying out. They're more sort of saturation effects rather than anything particularly fancy, but they're definitely enough, and some of them are quite cool. There's a dot mode which sort of makes it look like an impressionist painting, which is pretty cool. Next, this is probably the quickest everyday use I've had of a phone out of the box. I've had phones that have felt almost as quick as this. The S3, when I rooted it on CM10, it used to feel almost as quick as this. It's still not as quick. This is definitely a sort of step above that, but I haven't felt a desire to root it initially because it just feels so good. So I can't stress how good this processor is. It feels buttery smooth, and I'd love to put this up against something like the S4 and see how that compares. Sort of on the same vein, games. I haven't had any issues running games. I've been running Shadowgun, I've been running Dead Zone, pretty much any game you can think of I've probably tried on this, and I haven't had any issues with graphics at all. It's all been perfect. The multitasking I actually really like, sort of double tapping, and you get that nice preview window, so that's something I've been pleasantly surprised with, because I thought perhaps getting used to that double tap I wouldn't particularly like it, but actually it's been a really nice experience. Sense 5 I actually quite like. I haven't used it as much as I thought I would, just because I've been getting ready to review Chameleon Launcher and Nova Launcher. But saying that, Sense 5 is definitely the most usable iteration of Sense since Sense on the HTC Hero, which was really good. This is definitely the best. It's the least intrusive. Blink feed, although I slate it quite a lot, it's actually quite a good service. It does work. I don't use it because I use Flipboard and Currents, but if you do want something, it's a really good feature. No one else is really innovating on the home screen in the same way that HTC are, so that's nice to see. Voice support on Google Now is really, really good. I'm not sure if because the Nokia microphones that they stole are really, really good quality, or it's the software, but voice search has been brilliant on this. I've been able to use it in crowds, sort of on the train and stuff, and it works perfectly, and every time it's picked up what I've been saying and it'll sort of contextually search it. So Google Now is a really good service, and with these microphones and the software, it just works really, really nicely. I like the fact the notification light's hidden behind the speaker grill, and it is actually really, really bright. You can't really tell how bright it is until you see it in person, but it's really good. And I like the fact you can't see it because it's a bit more muted on the front. You haven't got another dot next to these sensors, which I like. The lock screen options, I really like the fact you can unlock straight to your home screen. You don't need to bother with the lock screen. But also the Sense 5 lock screens, the weather, the news feed, they're all actually quite nice, and I do use them on occasion, much more than I was using it on other devices. And the final thing I sort of touched on is Blink feed is actually quite nice. It's a decent service. You can tap up here to get to the top, which is pretty cool. And if you don't use Currents or something, or you do just want to jump into it really quickly when you're stepping onto a bus or whatever, it is a service that does work. So that's my really quick thing on all the stuff that I really love about the HTC One. Basically, to sum it up, the camera's awesome, the screen's awesome, and it feels really good in the hand, and the processor is really, really good. So it pretty much ticks all the boxes. Hey guys, it's Andrew at Night. I've just finished filming that video and I realised I didn't touch on the battery life. The battery life is also something I really like on this phone. I'm going to do a separate video on a battery life review and also a video on how to maximise your battery life. But I just want to say you can easily get upwards of sort of 12, 13, 14 hours on this thing. And my usage is fairly heavy, so you should be able to get even more than that if you're less of a power user than me. So I just thought I'd tack that onto the end of this video just so I mention it, because I know if I don't, a lot of people are probably going to ask about it. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Ta-ra. Please comment, please PM me, tweet me, whatever you want to do to get in contact. Please subscribe if you haven't seen me before, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ta-ra.